my fellow Pokemon trainers. There's something oh so special about shiny Pokemon, is there not? Well, today I'm going to share with you how to easily get your hands on a shiny of essentially any Pokemon you want, straight from the beginning of the game, and it's kind of shockingly easy. We thought sandwiches and the methods in Scarlet Violet was shockingly easy. This even more so. You can essentially farm shinies while not even at your Switch, completely AFK. It's kinda silly. It is nice to know, though, that there are definitive shiny methods in Legends Z-A, though, so that's something we got going for us. So how do shinies actually operate in Legends Z-A? Well, normal full odds, so you're 1 in 4,000 and a little bit, and then the shiny charm eventually when you get it will cut that by 75% to your 1 in about 1,000. So that's all well and good, but it's still, quite long odds. Every time they load Pokemon into the world, which happens every time you go far enough away and then come back to an area, every time you load via fast travel or go through a door, that kind of thing, the Pokemon there repopulate. And every time they repopulate, they roll those odds. So, in essence, it should take quite a long time. However, we can make those odds roll at an inordinately quick rate. But there is an extra set of rules that may or may not be intended, and if it's not intended, I'd get on this quickly before it's changed, that help this out. And that is, the world will store 10 shiny Pokemon for you. And I do mean store them. You can restart the game, you can load, you can leave the area and come back. It doesn't matter what you do unless you, kill the shiny Pokemon in question. But other than that, if a shiny spawns in your world, it's going to be in your world until you deal with it. Up to 10. On your 11th shiny spawn, well then that first one will get replaced. But other than that, your shinies are there to stay unless you knock them out or make them flee. And you can avoid that by simply saving before you engage with them and then have infinite tries at doing so. So essentially, we have a situation where we can make shiny Pokemon spawn really easily by rolling the chances of a shiny spawn really quickly, and if we do get one, well then you don't have to worry about losing it because it's not going anywhere unless you somehow get lucky enough to spawn 11 shiny Pokemon at once, which isn't really going to happen. So this is all rather exciting. Now you know how shinies work in some context then, let's go over this. Essentially, choose any given area or wild zone that you want to get a shiny Pokemon from, and fast travel to it. Then, when you get there, you can either go into the zone in question and actually look for a potential shiny, and then if you don't see one, fast travel to it again, and then repeat. Every time you fast travel to a particular wild zone, you roll all of the Pokemon in that wild zone. And if any of them appear shiny, that's there, that's gonna stay, that's fixed, so you can just keep rolling and try and populate even more shinies. Because of that, you don't then need to check every time you load. In fact, that's a waste of time. What your best bet is to fly to a wild zone, then fly to the wild zone, then fly to the wild zone, then fly to the wild zone. Depending on how into it you want to get, well, you can just sit there for about half an hour chain flying to the wild zone. Which sounds, like the most thrilling half an hour of your life, but it is an incredibly efficient half an hour of your life when it comes to farming shiny Pokemon. Let's say there are 20 Pokemon in the wild zone in question. So every time you fly there, which takes a couple seconds, you have 20 goes at the 1 in 4,000-ish chance of a shiny Pokemon. So if we assume the shiny odds are 1 in exactly 4,000, it's a little bit higher than that, but let's assume 1 in 4,000. We divide the 4,000 by the 20 Pokemon in the area. That means with average luck, you need to reload the wild zone in question 200 times to populate a shiny. Which again, sounds bad, but when you can do that once every 3 seconds or so, well, that only actually takes about 10 minutes. Let's call it 15 minutes if you're slow. That means that using this method, you are going to find yourself a shiny at least once every 15 minutes if you're average luck, or let's say one every half an hour if you're below average luck. But that is incredibly consistent, and time to shiny-wise is spectacular. It's up there with Scarlet Violet proper sandwich trickery usage, and compared to just other Pokemon games, it's ludicrously quick. So, yeah, that's kinda silly. And make sure that once you do have the shiny that you want spawned, as I said, and this also does work for getting particular alphas that you want to spawn as well, as you're also rolling alphas to happen, though they won't stay, so you would have to check each refresh to that. But once you do have the one that you want spawn, make sure that you do save before you accidentally fail to grab it or something like that, and you can just keep having goes over and over again. So while I may have not found a shiny Dynamo yet, I've got a nice alpha one, which I'm really, really happy about. And then you do have situations where you can speed this up even more, like probably the classic little load trick you've seen about the place in Wild Zone 3, where you just walk in and out of this structure. You can just hold down on your Joy-Con, you don't even have to look at anything, you can just tape it, etc, etc, walk away, just let your trainer walk up and down these stairs endlessly. Obviously this works for Wild Zone 3, so if you don't care about any of the Pokemon being here shiny, it's not exactly the best gotcha technique in the world, and you just need to find the next best way to do it, either something like this in a different Wild Zone, or just chain flying. But in any case, you can see how fast you can rack up refreshes and rolling those chances. And with the number of Pokemon in the area, yeah, that is going to result in a shiny fairly quickly. So I think this is quite spectacular, and something I definitely want to make happen before, well, we lose the ability to do so. So as a kind of easy example then, I have been chain walking up and down these stairs, refreshing the Pokemon in the zone, and remember, any shinies that spawn are immune to being refreshed until you get 10 shinies spawned, so you don't have to worry about checking every time. I have been doing this for 10 minutes. So let's go check if we've actually got any shinies. Let's have a look around then and see if we're working with anything. Little Leo's all looking normal. That's a little bit of a shame. I kind of wanted a shiny little Leo. The best way, honestly, to know if you've got a shiny is to just hear that kind of chime. I remember something like Esper over here will just run away if you get spotted. So if one of them was a shiny, again, and to really stress this, do save before you get yourself engaged. Though, that said, I already am now engaged by the little Leo trying to kill me, so that is unfortunate. Nothing going on there. Any Pikachu's in that shiny world? Anything going on? I have only been doing it for 10 minutes, so it would be, you know, average luck if I'd made it happen. We've got an alpha go. Oh, there we go! You see that over in the distance? We've got a shiny Skiddo. That's really, really cool. Huh! God, that is so effective. It really, really is. And that's how it's done then. Brilliant. So there you have it, everybody. Your nice, easy, straightforward method to make shinies happen. Still takes a little bit of doing, but in terms of time and effort-wise, it's the most comfortable shining farming I think I can ever think of in Pokemon. So I wish you good luck in your journey to grab your first shiny. It should not take long, and I'll be back with even more and better methods as we discover them later on. For now though, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.